What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. They got a squirrel behind the car there. Anyways, we're back at it, and this week we've got a new list of projects going on to include this 2013 Challenger. The customer's already done a bunch of stuff. It's got a big old Kenny bell on it. It is originally a 5.7 car. It's the NAG 1, but he swapped the block out and he's got a problem with cylinder 8. So we're gonna pull this thing apart, and we've got a box of goodies over here. Got some pistons and rods and new bearings and ARPs, so we're gonna pull this motor out and get it forged and ready for the power it's gonna make. So we'll go ahead and get this thing on the rack and get this thing tore down. Forrest's car, the black SRT4 you guys seen last week, that thing, as you seen, the motor's out, it got tore down and it's up at the machine shop now. We know we're gonna need bearings for that thing and new rings, but beyond that, it needs to finish get tore down and find out what all is wrong. So we can get that one back together. But stick with us, stay tuned, and enjoy some content. Another day is upon us, and John has got the motor out of the Challenger that we started working on yesterday. Ain't nobody talking to you in there, office lady. Anyways, there it is on the cherry picker. And there's the blower sitting on the table. And you're still talking. Also today, we've got this S550 on the dyno. Now we're doing the E85 tune. Tuned this car a while back. We did all the modifications to this thing. Long tubes, a Boss 302 manifold, JLT intake, all that jazz. And made 424 to the tire, and that's on pump gas. So we're gonna put some E in it, see where this thing finish out's at, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing tore down so we can get it to the machine shop. Well guys, it's the next day, and as you can see, I got Blurple Moon backed up to the bay because we're finna load some parts. Yesterday, John got the motor all disassembled. So now we're gonna take it to the machine shop and get everything checked, cleaned up, and ready for the new pistons and rods that are going in. Now, according to the customer, this motor was already done by an unnamed shop, and it already had aftermarket pistons but stock rods. So we got all that stuff apart. They're actually sitting right over here. Yeah, and that is the case. They are aftermarket pistons with stock rods. Supposedly this block is punched 10 over and the new parts are 10 over too. But we're not gonna just drop this stuff in there. We're gonna go ahead and take it to the machine shop and make sure that everything is what it says it is. So we're gonna get this thing loaded up in the truck, and John's getting the parts situated in this box over here. Got the bearings, the pistons, and the rods. So we'll get this stuff loaded up. We also had this neat little Camaro get dropped off this morning. It's got a little Galaxy themed wrap on it. It looks pretty cool. So we're doing a splitter on this thing. So while I drop this stuff off, John's gonna get cracking on pulling the front bumper off this thing and get the splitter mounted. Also yesterday, that Mustang I forgot to show you that we did on E85. Well, we did the flex conversion on it. Oh my gosh. Freaking Windows updates. So as you guys can see, this thing finished out at 451 and 412. So that thing, customer's on his way to come pick that thing up. It's gonna get out of here. So we're gonna get trucking on with the rest of our day. I'm gonna get this block dropped off. Well, unfortunately guys, as you can see, John's putting the bumper back on. We unboxed this splitter for the customer and we were about to start putting it on. We discovered the shape of it was not correct. Customer either accidentally ordered one for a 5th gen, you know, this is a 6th gen Camaro, or the company sent him the wrong one. Either way, talked to the customer, he said put his front bumper back on. He's gonna sell the splitter and get another one. So that's what we're doing now. But it turned into some other work because we noticed it had a check engine light and he asked us to check it out. So when we get back from lunch, we're gonna check out what's going on with the check engine light on this thing. Pumping on with the rest of our week, we've got this 2020 wide body scat pack in that we're doing a camshaft on. This thing's got a cool little wrap on it, but got it strapped down onto the dyno. We're gonna make some pulls. Oop, tripping. Make some pulls on it to see what it makes before we get all of our work done and get it tuned. So after we get these pulls done, we'll get the ECU popped out of it, get it on the rack, get the ECU sent off so it can be unlocked, and get cracking on this cam install. So guys, we got our pulls made on our 2020 Scat Pack, and here's our dyno graph. So, for sure we can improve on those numbers. Let's get to tearing this thing down. So before we get tearing on this thing and get it tore down, we got to get the read out of the PCM so we can send that off to get unlocked. But being that this is 2020, you know, 18 and newer, you got to do the smart access cable. And I grabbed the one out of the office because we keep them in stock. Whoop. Bam, product placement. Anyways, there's the cable. So we're gonna go ahead, get that installed real quick, and get the read out of the ECU, and then we'll pull the ECU out on this thing. So I wanted to take a quick second to show you guys this on the smart access cable on these 2018 and newer Challengers. You know, on the Chargers you remove the bolts down here and the smart access cable goes in down here. On the on the Challengers, getting them confused, it's actually behind the radio bezel here. So you got to pull all this off. Here it is with all the vents and stuff. And then if you look down right inside here, see I've already plugged the smart access in, and I just got to plug this back into the box, where the box is right down there, the security module. So in my opinion, quite a bit more work to get to it, but you know, I know some of you guys are do-it-yourselfers out there, so that's how you do it. So we're gonna get this plugged in, get the read done, and get this ECU shipped out. And now we're getting our read on. So guys, moving right along, I didn't get to show you, but John got this thing all the way disassembled. The heads are off, old camshafts out, lifters out. He's already put in the MSD delete plugs, and I just shoved the camshaft in. So cam's in, we're about to throw the lifters in. John is over here working on putting the phaser lockout on it, because this thing's getting a Texas speed cam, and they do the lockout instead of the limiter. But this thing is getting put back together. Still got to put the springs on the heads and get everything cleaned up, but we'll probably have this thing timed and start putting it back together this afternoon. So guys, we are at that point. Our motor is all back together. We're about to drop our heads on. So John has got everything prepped, and he went ahead and put the Texas Speed long tubes on. Makes it a whole hell of a lot easier. Just knock them out and then drop the heads in. Anyways, once we get the heads on, won't be too long and this thing will be all back together. And all we will be waiting on is the ECU to come back from getting unlocked, and then we'll be able to get this bad boy tuned.